This is a very obscure movie, I guess. A really rare movie.
It looks like someone must have just brought in a bunch of these games because they were all in great condition. Of course, I had to show you guys these Spider-Man games on the Xbox 360. Hello everyone, it's Austin and we are back with another episode of my $10 Nintendo Collection series. We've been on a mission to build the biggest Nintendo collection that we can, simply by going to thrift stores, pawn shops, game stores, finding items that we can flip, and then using that flipped profit to purchase Nintendo games and building up this collection. In last week's episode, we did a huge trade-in, which allowed us to purchase some really great Nintendo games for really cheap. We managed to get 2 games marked off of our list, and we're seeking out the rest of these 8 games to conclude this series. I don't really have too much to start off this episode. I do have one thing planned out in the next coming weeks. In a couple of weeks, the Midwest Gaming Classic is going to be happening, and I'm definitely going to be attending. I will be a vendor at this convention here in my home city of Milwaukee, hoping to sell some video games, do a lot of fun activities at my booth, and also do some video game hunting, hopefully find some Nintendo games as well. It will be happening the first week of April, and if you guys are in the area, definitely stop on by. Excited to go back out, do some more game hunting, and hopefully we can find some more games to mark off of our list. Here we are back at the game showcase. We just actually made a couple more sales. The first game is actually a surprising one. This one sold pretty quick, and it's going to be Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars. I had no idea this game was that desirable because it sold pretty quick. The second item we sold is going to be this right here, this little dongle. And this one sold for $47.50. Always be on the lookout for these wireless dongles for these guitars. They hold a ton of value. We just made another quick sale, and it's going to be a DVD right here. This Third Rock from the Sun. We sold this one for $14.50 and picked it up for $1 at the bins. Gonna get this one packaged and shipped. After eBay fees and shipping, this is how much we'll get to add back to the game fund. Checking out a Goodwill this week, and we got some games down here actually. Just some lower end games. Sealed Wii Fit right here, along with a Connect Adventures sealed. These games don't really hold too much value. This Clone Wars game, and it's not complete, so probably won't be grabbing that. But we do have one Xbox One game right here, this Mortal Kombat X or 10 Xbox One, and seems to be complete, so could be a fun grab. We got this jam pack on the PlayStation 2. Really cool demos on here. Lego Harry Potter right here. I feel like I grabbed this before. It's really clean condition though. We'll debate on that actually. NCAA Football 09, which I don't see too often, or I don't recognize like the front cover. But this one doesn't hold too much value either. Bunch of PC games, some of them even sealed. What is this? Film Fatale. And you got some DDR games and Mass Effect. So didn't really see too much in terms of games, but we got a ton of Blu-ray movies over here, and I'm typically just looking for obscure ones or sealed ones. Didn't really see much over here though. You got a Resident Evil right here, Afterlife. But as we move over here, I found some interesting ones. You actually have probably the biggest score that I found here, this Alice movie, which is released in 2009. You also got the actual Alice in Wonderland movie right here, which released in 2010. But this is a very obscure movie, I guess. Really rare movie because apparently there is a little bit of interest in this. It holds a ton of value. There are only like 3 listings on eBay, and only 2 listings have sold. So there's probably one that doesn't get sold too often, but for the 2 listings that did sell, they sold for around $50. So because of that, we're definitely going to take a chance on this. What, $2 or $3 for this? And I actually haven't seen any of these Alice in Wonderland movies, which is crazy. This one's sealed as well. I might just pick it up just for me to either watch or keep. But yeah, again, really nice scores here. Just gonna grab these.
nice.
That was cold.
Is it?
I got it at home myself. I think you're gonna like that one.
Alright, cool.
We are off to another Goodwill this week and checking out the media section. They had a bunch of sports games over here. NBA Live 07 was one of my favorites. I always love playing the All-Star weekend with the dunk contest and the three-point shootout. And then a couple more football games over here. They had this NCAA March Madness. And then I spotted two games that actually do have some value. This NHL Hits, developed by Midway. Not sure what makes these games so popular or so special. Missing a manual, unfortunately. But this will be one that we are grabbing. Along with this MLB Slugfest. I actually did flip this game in the previous series. Also missing a manual, but values for around 10 to 15 as well. So yeah, not a bad stop. Looking over the Blu-rays just to see if we could find anything worth picking up, and there really wasn't much, unfortunately. A couple of Sherlock Holmes movies on Blu-ray, and then I spotted this Kiki's Delivery Service on DVD. I thought this was pretty interesting, but decided to pass on this. And then we're checking out the electronics section next. Found a monitor right here for 15 bucks, and also a microphone. Thought this could have had some value, but looked pretty cheap. And then over here I spotted a Dyson charger, and right off the bat I knew Dyson equipment is pretty high-end and expensive, so decided to scan this one up, and it does hold a little bit of value, around 10 to 15 bucks. Could be an easy one just to grab as well. It's got 3 items.
$7.38 is our total. We got a card.
Here we are at the game showcase. We just made another sale, and it's going to be a game down here. This Madden 17 on the Xbox 360. This one's in like semi-sealed condition. It's got this sticker. But we sold this one for around 18 bucks and picked it up for like 2 bucks at a half price books. We got 2 more sales. The first game is going to be this Black Ops 2 on the Xbox 360. This one sold for $17.50. And we got it for around 4 bucks at a thrift store. The second game we got is this Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the original Xbox, complete as well. And this one sold for 18 bucks. Let's go ahead and get these 2 packaged and shipped. After eBay fees and shipping, this is how much we'll get to add back to the game fund. We made a visit to a half price books this week, and looking for some games maybe to cross off of our list, or maybe just some games for a good deal. Found a sealed DS game right here for 6 bucks. Probably not worth it. They had a small selection of cartridge games here as well. And then checking out the Wii section, there really wasn't too much here. Found an Animal Crossing. They actually had a decent selection of GameCube games. I don't ever see this much. I spotted this Tony Hawk's Underground 2 for $10, which is an absolutely great price. This game values at around 25 to 30, and it was complete. It looks like someone must have just brought in a bunch of these games because they were all in great condition and marked pretty well. Got a Lord of the Rings game right here, some Call of Duty games, the Spider-Man game, which I believe I have already, and then this SSX on tour game for $10. Looked on the back and I saw Mario in the pictures, which is awesome. But yeah, this game also values for around $20 to $30. It was also complete, so no brainer to grab both of these. Other than that though, I didn't really find too much else. Gonna show you guys the case, a couple more Nintendo 64 games, which I had no interest in. And then I spotted this Adventures of Link Zelda 2 game gold cartridge for $40. Debated on picking this one up because it is on our list, but I feel like $40 is still a bit steep of a price. Also, just wanted to show you guys the clearance section. Sometimes I find great items back here, but this time around, just a bunch of GTA 5s on the 360, Assassin's Creed, and a bunch of sports titles. So ended up passing up on all of this stuff. Also in the clearance, I found a bucket full of toys and collectibles. You had these Overwatch Funko Pops, which are pretty big for some reason, but I thought these could have had some value.
Hello.
There you go. Oh, there's a Borders label on that.
Got some games.
There we go. Look at that.
1904 with discount on card.
You're all
Yeah.
set.
Okay, just do whatever your card requires.
Lastly, we are checking out a GameStop store, and this is known for being a retro location, so they got a ton of retro games. Checking out the Nintendo section first. Just gonna take some time to show you guys some cool stuff that I found here. They had an amazing selection of video games at this location. A decent amount of Wii games here, usually overpriced. Found some interesting stuff in the PlayStation 2 section as well. Got NFL Street 3 right here, along with this TMNT game for $8 too. And then I spotted this Soul Reaver Legacy of Kain game for $18. I know they are making remakes of these games. In the PlayStation 3 section as well, got this Killzone trilogy. And then there was one game that I actually am going to pick up, and it's this Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2 for $35. Always be on the lookout for these Dynasty Warriors Gundam games because they do hold a decent amount of value. This one goes for around $60 to $70. Gonna take a peek at the Xbox 360 section next and spotted this Call of Duty War Collection, which includes the original Call of Duty games. I had never seen that one before. And they also had a bunch of Dragon Ball Z games here too. Of course, had to show you guys these Spider-Man games on the Xbox 360. I did play Shattered Dimensions, but never this Edge of Time game. Decided to take a look at the PlayStation 4 section next and spotted this Days Gone game, which has gone up in value. I know they made some graphic and frame rate updates to the game recently. And then I spotted this Assassin's Creed Odyssey Gold Edition Steel booklet for $15. This is for sure going to be one that I'm going to grab as well because this thing actually values for around $30 to $40. So awesome to be able to find deals on this.
So I did bring in a bag of games that I want to see if I could trade in.
Okay.
These are kind of like older games though.
What's this phone number for you? $11.95 cash opposed to $17.40 credit. $17.40 credit put towards whatever in the store or put it on a card for you.
I'll just do credit. And then I got like 2 games too that I did
There
buy.
works.
Yeah.
Ken, awesome. We are looking at $27.72 for you today.
Okay, cool.
Wow, guys, that actually turned out to be a pretty good stop. We had like a small handful of games. They only took 4 games and gave us back $17.40, which is pretty good. They took Just Cause 2 for a couple of cents. NCAA Football 2011 for $1.65. Forza 6, a loose copy of that on the Xbox One, went for $9.90. And then Black Ops 3 on the PS4 for $5.50. So $17.40 is amazing, honestly. And we also ended up grabbing these 2 games. We got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, this gold edition, for $15, and it actually values for around $30 to $40. And then also got Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2. Really tempted to keep this one, but I got all of these on the Xbox 360, and it looks like it did include the manual as well. So a big win with this one.
That right there wraps up the game hunting for this week. Let's go over all our pickups. So it was a bit more chill of a week for us. We really didn't grab too much. But we did stop at some Goodwills this week and picked up some games. We got Mortal Kombat X on the Xbox One. Actually did play this one a little bit. Mortal Kombat games are just super fun to play with, especially if you got a group of friends and you're battling it out. We also grabbed 2 Alice movies on Blu-ray. We got this very unique Alice movie, Welcome to the Whole New Borderland. I don't recognize any of the actors or actresses, but again, holds a decent amount of value. We also got the Johnny Depp version on Blu-ray, brand new and sealed. Might just throw this up on eBay. If it sells, then great. If it doesn't, then I'll be happy to keep it as well. At the next Goodwill, we actually grabbed one of these Dyson chargers, and from my understanding, Dyson is pretty high-end brand of like vacuums and cleaners, things like that. So I decided to scan this one up, and it actually does hold a little bit of value, around 10 to 15 bucks, and we got it for $1. We came away with 2 PlayStation sports games that surprisingly does have some value. We got MLB Slugfest 2004, and these games are developed by Midway Sports, so I'm not sure what is so special about these games, but they've got like the dark background, and never really played too much MLB in my life, so don't really know too much about this one. And then we also picked up a hockey game, a pretty dirty condition. I do need to get these cleaned up and wiped down, but these were both missing the manuals, unfortunately. Other than that, we made a visit to a half-price bookstore and found some pretty cheap GameCube games. I probably should have grabbed some more of those. I think there was like a Spider-Man game, which I already have, and then a Lord of the Rings game, but I forgot how much they were. We did pick up SSX On Tour for the GameCube, and this one was reviewed not as good as the previous ones. In the previous games, you actually had characters that you could select from, and each of them had their own charm to it. In this game, you had to create your own character, and that kind of took away from it. But it's just your traditional SSX snowboarding game. There are a lot of levels, you got to complete challenges, and one of the greater features is it actually includes Peach, Mario, and Luigi on the GameCube version, and you pretty much just get to replay levels as these characters. And then we also got a copy of Tony Hawk's Underground 2, an amazing game, an amazing story. Bam Margeria joins the game. It's pretty funny how the story starts off because you get kidnapped and taken away in a van and get brought to Bam and Tony Hawk, and then they recruit you to join them on their new tour. Pretty much go around the United States, I believe, and just play through a lot of the nice levels. I know there's a lot more collectibles that you have to get in here, but they also do still have the classic timed mode where you just gotta do a lot of tricks. Lastly, we just made a visit to GameStop, traded in about 4 games, that's all they took, and we got like 17 bucks back for that. So got these games for a lot cheaper. The first game we got is this Assassin's Creed Odyssey Steel Book Edition, Gold Edition on the PlayStation 4. This is probably the only Assassin's Creed game that I have not played yet. I guess I'm just not a big fan of the big world Assassin's Creed games. I played Origins for the longest and just never completed that. I also played Valhalla and really enjoyed, the Vikings theme. But for some reason, I just skipped this one. I heard great reviews about this game. I guess I'm just not ready to jump back into a never-ending game again. I did play Assassin's Creed Mirage and really enjoyed it. Brought back the traditional Assassin's Creed style, finished it in around 20 hours. And then the second game we got is Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2. Both of these games value for a lot more than what I purchased them for. Dynasty Warriors Gundam 1 was a childhood favorite of mine. These games are pretty much just a skinned version of the Dynasty Warriors games. So if you're a fan of these games, these are a ton of fun. You really don't need to know the storyline at all. But Gundam has been a very popular franchise. They've made a ton of new games. They've made new animated movies. There's definitely a big following for this, and so that's why these games do hold a lot of value. Definitely be on the lookout for these. But yeah, that concludes it. Another fun week of video game hunting, going to thrift stores. Still really do enjoy doing this. Gonna add all of this to the shelf right now. Unfortunately, we did not find any games to cross off of our list, but we'll be on the lookout next week, I guess. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode, and I'll see you guys on the next one.